very big divide in the country between liberals and conservatives. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the push for gun grabs and an assault weapons ban. It seems as if the liberals are fighting very hard to limit magazine capacity and also limit the choice that people have in their firearms. They want to limit specific models. I can't remember the exact number. It's something like 148 specific models by make and manufacturer that they have in this assault weapons ban. But it's not only specific rifles. There's also shotguns and pistols that are specifically named. They limit the amount of military features such as pistol grip, muzzle attachments. Those kind of things are going to be limited. I think it's down to one. You can only have one military feature. I think with pistols, they may even be trying to push for like a 7-round. I've heard that thrown around, 7 rounds. 10-round is the most common one for, I know, rifles. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to do with the pistols, but I know that they are basically assuming that if you have more than 10 rounds in your pistol, that it's going to be an assault weapon. With shotguns, I believe semi-automatics, of course, are going to be assault weapons. Pump action shotguns, I also believe, are going to be considered assault weapons. So it's a very inclusive, it's very broad, and it is totally out of line with our Second Amendment. It's trying to strip us of most of our Second Amendment rights, and we all know that once they start with this, that it's just going to continue. They are never going to be satisfied. The liberals have actually admitted that they know an assault weapons ban is not going to do any good, just like the first assault weapons ban didn't do any good. There were statistics done that showed there was no significant reduction in crime or murders at all, gun violence, because those weapons are used in such a small percentage of crimes in the first place. I think it's something between like 0.5% or 1.5% of all murders and crimes in a whole year. You know, it's totally insignificant. They're making such a big deal out of it. Piers Morgan is one of the biggest fools I've seen. He's on the TV all the time, asking the same questions to every single person that he interviews. I listened to the interview he did with John Lott, and he wouldn't allow the man to talk because he knew the facts were against him. That's what these liberals do. When you provide facts to them, they get outraged at you, and they will tell you that the facts don't matter, and they don't care about the facts. All they care about is the blood that's been shed. They want to, make these sob stories, and they want you to, they want to play on your emotions instead of actually be logical and look at the facts. The facts are that violent crime with firearms has gone down 50% in the last 20 years. It continued to decline even after the first assault weapons ban was over with. Just goes to prove, just like John Lott's book is called More Guns, Less Crime, it's true. The more guns there are, the less crime there is. If you look at the areas in America that have the most gun control, those are the areas that have the highest murder rates. Look at Chicago. I mean, that's perfect example, case in point. They know that these bans don't do anything except for disarm the American people, which makes them that much easier to trample over. It's just one small step in this march towards tyranny. The second thing I want to talk about is the sequester. President Obama seems to think that we're all a bunch of idiots. It was a week or two ago that he was telling everyone that, the sky's going to fall, we're not going to be able to operate, and that, it's going to be the end of the world. This cut is almost negligent. It's, he says, what is it, $84 billion or something of that nature. The cut is so small. How are we supposed to survive as a nation when we have a debt that is 16 trillion plus, and we can't even make a small cut like 84 billion? And the funny thing is, these cuts are not even real cuts. It's the same thing Ron Paul's been talking about for a long time. All these cuts are not cuts. They are just reductions in proposed increases, automatic increases. Every year, the budget for everything across the government is increased. Well, almost everything. Most things. It increases automatically. It's incrementally increased every year. These cuts, the sequester cuts, really are not cutting anything. It's just reducing the automatic increase. So when they tell you that, we're going to have to let criminals go and close cases, and we're not going to have firefighters and police be able to fight fires and patrol the streets, and we're not going to be able to detain illegal immigrants, and we're going to have to lay people off, we're going to have to furlough, and we're going to have to cut back on this and that. It's really just a bunch of bullcrap. The truth of the matter is, if they can't operate with the amount of money that they have right now, then there's serious problems. Everyone in America knows that there's a huge spending problem. Yet people like Nancy Pelosi are trying to fool you into thinking it's not a spending problem. It is a spending problem. The problem is so deep that every year we end up with $1 trillion in debt, thanks to President Obama, who can't even pass a budget. Of course, he blames that on the Republicans, just like he blames the sequester, even though that was his idea, something that he signed. I guess he thought that it would never happen, or maybe he just thought when the time came he would use it as leverage against the Republicans. I'm not really sure. To me, it looks like a deal is going to happen. Is it going to happen before the sequester starts, supposedly? No, I don't think so. I think that the sequester deadline is going to be passed, but these cuts don't really kick in for weeks or a month, or I'm not sure exactly how long, but it's been said that it's not going to be an immediate something that's going to be immediately felt. And even President Obama said himself that most people aren't even going to notice for weeks or months. So he goes from telling you that the sky's falling and that we're going to have to cut this and that, and everything's going to be terrible and it's going to destroy the economy, to, actually, most people won't even notice it at first for weeks or months, or who knows. I think it's just a bunch of, backpedaling, and that really he doesn't have anything to tell you other than a bunch of lies. He is a chronic liar. Look at his campaign promises, for instance. How many of those has he kept? Almost none. But this is not looking good. People need to start preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. Now, I don't think a Romney presidency would have been any better. Of course, I was a Ron Paul fan. I still am a Ron Paul fan, and I think he would have been the best choice. But a lot of people wanted to call him a racist and a kook and say that he would, never work because he wanted to cut. Well, look at where the nation's heading. I know there's a lot of Obama knots out there, a lot of people who are still hypnotized by Obama, but the reality is most people that I talk to, whether they are conservatives or liberals, they realize there's a big problem and that it's probably not going to get fixed anytime soon, and certainly not under Obama's command. If anything, he's just going to push us further into debt, further into crisis. It's basically self-inflicted wounds. He's just going to tell you, we need more government, we need more money, we're going to take more money from you. And that's just not the proper way. Republicans aren't doing a great job of defending anything. I mean, they're bought and paid for by the same people who own the Democrats. Big corporations, and, well, I'm not even going to get into any of the deeper stuff. But it's this system is not working. If this system was working the way it should, we wouldn't have all these corrupt government officials telling us what to do, and when they're supposed to be our servants. Anyway, I'm glad to get back into the swing of things, and just keep an eye out for any of my new videos coming out here soon. Glad to be back. See ya.